Hi, this is Joe's Corner 76. I'll be commenting on the human condition. In order to change it, we have to be engaged. Have you heard the term the Great Reset? Do you know what it means? It's been mentioned in the news as being used by Justin Trudeau in the following statement. The pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. Trudeau mentioned this at the UN. The left accuses anyone on the conservative side as spouting conspiracies when they question Trudeau and the Liberals on their plans for the Great Reset. Where did the idea for the Great Reset start? This actually is a book written by Klaus Schwab in 2010, The Great Reset. The ideas contained in this book have been around for a while, but basically never got worldwide attention until the COVID-19 pandemic. It's here where it got prominence. Klaus Schwab puts forward the idea that COVID-19 has disrupted our social and economic systems. It proposes, under the cover of the pandemic, to use it to disrupt our social and economic systems and what changes would have needed to be made to create a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable world going forward. The Great Reset, really under the guise of the pandemic and climate change, wants to accelerate efforts to reimagine economic systems. It proposes a globalist approach that would determine the future state of global relations, the nature of national economies, the priorities of society, the nature of business models, and the management of global continents. Who are the main forces behind this? The forum behind the ideas for the Great Reset are found in the group known as the World Economic Forum, which is an international non-profit and non-government organization based in Geneva, Switzerland, and it was founded in 1971. The meetings are held each year in January in Davos, Switzerland. The non-profits organization aim is to engage the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas. Note, these ideas are ones the forum wants to employ on a global basis. At their meeting, 3,000 business leaders, international political leaders, economists, celebrities, and journalists gather for up to 5 days to discuss global issues across 500 sessions. The World Economic Forum and its meetings are criticized for the cost to the public for their security and the formation of a wealthy global elite who are not really attached to the broader world society. Attendance is by invitation only. This, to me, means they are above us and they feel they are the anointed, who claim they care about the average man and they want to adjust the world to make it more equal by taking the wealth of developed democracies and spreading it around by making the wealthier countries poorer. This, in essence, is a socialist policy that will affect the average person, but not the wealthy elites. The World Economic Forum is undemocratic in its decision-making process, in how they measure and rank gender issues, and for transparency. Conference attendees were apparently less open to transparency in business than in government. The World Economic Forum was founded by Klaus Schwab, and he is its head. As of January 2016, the community of forum members comprises more than 390 firms over 60 countries. Membership is by invitation only, and as a result of a diligent review of selection criteria. This is an organization of elites who are wealthy and influential, and it appears they have different rules for the average man and themselves in view of their resistance to financial transparency. In the pandemic to date, the top 100% have seen their wealth increase exponentially. Not so for the average person. What kind of equality is this? Klaus Schwab wants to see a fundamental change to capitalism post COVID-19. He wants to change our social, natural, and human capital so that the economic inequality, in his view, is corrected. He says that if you don't want a revolution, it's time to use the government to more strongly regulate business, address climate change, and fix income inequality. Why am I concerned about this? The Great Reset Initiative is the theme of the World Economic Forum. It will argue that the pandemic and climate change show that the need for global governance because individual nations are incapable of addressing them effectively or equitably under capitalism. This, in effect, is a global socialist agenda put forward by elites with no regard for the nation state. It's known as the 2021 Agenda under the World Economic Forum, and under the UN is Agenda 2030, where Canada and 192 member states adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in 2015. It's interesting to note that major corporations are on the bandwagon for sustainable development. The Davos Conference is calling for businesses to take proactive steps in auditing their operations and shifting towards long-term sustainable goals that value stakeholders rather than just investors. Again, where's the concern for the average person? Trudeau has been quite clear in his belief in using the pandemic and climate change to alter Canadian society. This is no conspiracy theory made up by the Conservatives. It's actually happening. His first step is a carbon tax. He has broken his promise by how much the tax would be increased, and he's adjusted it exponentially. He is an adamant convert to the globalist plan to convince people living in democracies in the developed world to accept a lower standard of living to save the planet from catastrophic global warming. The newly appointed Deputy Finance Minister, Michael Sabia, is said to be ready to shake things up. He spent many years organizing the annual Davos Conference. The Governor of the Bank of Canada commented on the situation. He stated, "We need to position Canada to seize the climate-smart opportunities that consumers, workers, and investors are looking for." Is this a nod to the Great Reset? Trudeau was not elected to alter Canada in this way. He has not put his plan to the people, so he has no mandate for this action. His increase in carbon taxes will not meet the Paris Agreement's goal by 2030. And the UN says the goals need to be increased fivefold to make a difference. All Canadians need to make their voices known to both the Liberals and Conservatives. We want a voice in now how our country is governed and its decisions on a global basis. You'll have to be aware so you get the kind of Canada you want. Is the Great Reset just a conspiracy? What do you think? Let me know. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Joe's Corner 76. You can hear me on Anchor, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and YouTube at Joe's Corner 76.